Oh, the live skis.
I
was hoping Paul would be done dying, but clearly,
No, no.
Me too.
bastard still has a little bit of life left in him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If he lived closer, we could solve that problem.
Oh. Okay. All right then.
Just so you know, his phrasing of problem was.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I heard it.
While his, not mine, I also agree. This would be a lot easier.
Well, I'm just saying geographically, Joe. You could solve this riddle easier than I can.
I guess. But I'm tired.
You looking to get stabbed with your own sword, sir?
No.
I mean,
right here.
No one wants to get stabbed with their own sword.
Yeah.
It's nearby.
It just kind of happens that way.
Sometimes, hey, yeah, shit happens. All right.
For those joining ahead of the live stream, jump ahead roughly about 15 minutes, 13 now, because we're late to the show, to see the live stream of not the QSP stuff that you had thumbnailed, but the Benchmade PSK.
Did that not get uploaded?
No, I just went to it.
It was a lark for some reason.
That's funny.
Got a lark with a dragonfly.
Oh, good stuff.
So let's change that thumbnail before we go reposty, you know.
You don't tell me. It's fine.
Well, I mean, even if it gets posted, we're lucky half the time, I suppose, right? So
2/3 of the time, sir. Two-thirds.
I was gonna say, I don't know if it's quite half.
It's been pretty good lately. It hasn't been too bad lately.
It's like 14/64.
That's generous.
I don't know. That's
do you account for the fact that there's no pennies?
I thought you were gonna ask if I was gonna account for the wind.
If you're
that's funnier.
That's much funnier. If you're all I'm saying is if you're not using a base 10 system, you're out of line. Come
on. You're out of order.
The 64th's bullshit. That's too much.
Yeah, I took a very quick second to think if you could what's it called when you simplify a fraction, but
reducing it, simplifying. Yeah. I think is correct. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't wanna try and do that to a 14/64. Weldon Carey, what is up? What you carrying? What are you carrying?
Indeed. Who would like to go first? Anyone fun and fancy? Anyone show and tellsies?
No, it's Old Faithful.
No. I got some shows and tellsies, so I'll go last.
All right.
Okay, I'll go first then, I suppose. Once I get OBS to recognize the Chrome window, that'd be beneficial for our... Hey, there we go. Cool.
Shipwreck PM3 and a ZT350.
Nice. Very nice. No, Chrome, you are not my default. Good lord.
Not that good.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I've shown this on the channel before. Last couple days, it's been the Benchmade Elischwitz, whose number I'm drawing a blank on, the 690. Yeah, the 690. Yeah,
I think you shows and tells you that when you first got it, at least. Yeah.
Yeah, relatively quickly afterwards, for sure. Yep, still liking it.
You've shown it off on stream a time or two with that silly clip that it's got, for sure.
Oh, right. Yes, I've...
Yes.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one right there.
Blinding astronauts on the ISS with reflections from this thing.
I am glad that it's comfortable for you, but it is hideous.
It's not the best looking clip in the world, but it is actually very functional. I actually really hate how much I'm becoming okay with tip down carry, just generally speaking. But
you should be ashamed of yourself.
Yeah.
A little bit.
I'm ashamed for you.
It's just so goddamn comfortable.
I have a hard enough time feeling my own shame sometimes, so I'm not feeling any of his, that's for damn sure. But yeah, you know.
Sharing the shame, man. Come on, sharing the shame.
No.
Like he said, he's got enough to deal with.
I've got enough shape. Like, floweth over. Good times. Good times. That's a good shot right there.
Stinky.
It's all carbony and fibery.
The
Blue.
Some shimmer.
yeah.
Shimmy shams.
So,
I guess it's my turn then, isn't it?
well, you know.
Yeah.
It's
Could be.
I got a little sneaky on the way to Verk and took a picture of my Grimsmo in the wild.
Ah.
Balancy.
Yeah.
I've often wondered about what would happen to that lanyard hole if it hit concrete at just the right angle.
Why would you put those thoughts into my noodle?
Because
Bud?
it's so close to the edge of the knife.
In my defense, there's no concrete below there. It's all
No,
dirt.
just a bunch of
Rocks.
steel bars it might hit on the way down too.
It would fall off the back more than anything else. It would hit the ground. It might hit a bar or two on the way down.
I'd really hope not.
No.
It's a good shot. I worry for you, sir.
It balances pretty good.
Yeah.
There was
imagine-
no.
Once you're used to finding the balance point the first time, it's a lot easier after that to.
Well, I'll practice before if I'm thinking about taking a shot like that, I'll figure out where that balance point is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've only ever dropped one knife, and I can't even remember which one it was, but it
It was the Chavez. It was the
No,
Chavez.
no.
Sir.
I was gonna say
This is only
We
a
all
few feet.
remembered which one it was.
No. I'm not talking about off my balcony. I'm saying off of one of these.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
I've dropped one knife off of one of these once when it was like snowy and icy, and the ice melted on the steel scale or whatever, the titanium scale, and the knife slid and fell.
Oh, yeah. Okay, that'll do it.
And I ran around and picked it back up like a squirrel.
I think I remember that story, but yeah, I don't recall what knife that was either.
Don't remember at all. One of them wasn't quite this fancy, or the Chavez.
Well, of all the knives you owned, it certainly was one of them.
Certainly is one. Yeah.
Awesome. All right, Dennis, what are you carrying?
What are you buying?
What are you selling?
Well, it's kind of new. I mean, I've owned it, and then I've owned it, and then I've owned it again, and then another one happened to come my way. So now I think it's up to 4 I have, and on the tradition of ugly pocket clips, and specifically Benchmade ugly pocket clips. A while back, I picked up another 946, a mini onslaught. Yeah. Is that what it is? 940? No, 746. Sorry. I was confused because this one's actually a first production run. It does actually have the 946 out of 1,000.
Oh,
on
that's
that bad
funny.
boy. So, yeah, speaking of ugliest clips, I win, sir. I win.
I do like that knife. I do hate that clip.
I win.
Yes.
You know, the only thing that makes it uglier is the addition of an extra screw and a lanyard hole. But it's mostly that lanyard hole.
It's
Good
good.
Lord.
It's good.
It just looks like you lost a screw.
So, no. It's supposed to be there. You see, it goes right
Oh,
through.
I know.
Yeah. So yeah, that was actually, I did pick it up a while ago. I think in and amongst the Sage purchases,
Mm-hmm.
this one
Absolutely.
was kind of stuffed in the pocket as well.
I was wondering where that had gone. I knew he
So-
had one at one point.
Yeah, well, it was there, and then
Yeah. It wasn't.
and then it wasn't there, and it matches my other one like this that doesn't have fancy numbers on it, and then the carbon fiber one, and then the green G10 one. So we're working our way through the rounds.
Is one of those like a shot show knife?
No, both of them were
Okay.
just limiteds.
Limited? Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
So good times. Mini onslaught. This is the
Very cool.
smaller of the onslaughts.
Do they all have the bad pocket clip?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I think the gold
So
classy one had the Timascus pocket clip if you wanted to get really gross about the whole thing.
All right.
I
I
can't
don't feel
remember.
so bad about buying so many tie lights.
Did I spell onslaught wrong?
Yeah, but this thing you can actually
I did
cut
not.
something with, and it's got a spidey hole, and it's a Benchmade.
I can cut
Most-
things with my tie light. Just gotta use the tip.
Most people think of the sheep's foot grip as the only hold
Yeah, yeah.
Benchmade.
That is fair.
So this one goes under the wire quite a bit.
Yeah, because the Bedlam is a thumb stud, I'm pretty sure.
Okay, this gold
Yes.
class has a D2 blade, full carbon fiber, and still looks like a steel clip. It just looks
Okay,
like it's
I
been
could be wrong.
DLC'd. Well,
I
they've
could be
done,
wrong.
but they've done multiple runs of gold class
And it might
940s.
be not a
So
gold class. It might just be one of their limiteds because the limited blue class,
right,
that's
right,
the
right.
two other mini onslaughts I have is the limited gold blue class stuff, right? So
I'd be curious to see, yeah, because they've done a ton of different versions over the years. That's such a cool profile. I'm sad it's not commonly available anymore.
the harpoonies.
Yeah, before it was a trend.
I mean, what was that ZT that was all harpoonies? That was a good looking knife too.
The Poon before it was trendy.
It's
Eh.
harpoonies, as it were.
I don't always speak that language.
I always speak that language.
I thought that was
Where's
a type of.
Where's
I
a
thought that
whale
was.
when you need one? Like it's.
I thought that was the type of dog.
Do you often find yourself in need of a whale?
No, but when you've got a harpoon, now I need a whale. It's
when all you have is a harpoon, everything starts to look like a whale.
In the middle of the ocean, just looking adrift. What am I supposed to do now? You're like, if I had a whale, I'd have something to do.
Yeah, you got me there.
My only regret is I'm going to die bored.
I'm gonna die with no whale in sight.
Fuck.
Whaleless.
Off the rails immediately.
Damn
What
this
did you-
landlocked province.
Yeah, damn you!
Lying on a boat in the middle of the prairies. This sucks.
Who did this to
in
me?
the tall grass in your boat with a harpoon.
Don't mind me. I'm just gonna start up the trolling motor here for a second.
Just throw it at a cow. You've been hunting whales for.
I've been hunting whales for 30 years.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they're made of beef, don't you know?
Wow.
Only the finest of Alberta beef.
Yeah.
Why does this cut appear to have a giant hole going through it?
You appear to have taken this photo on a giant concrete nipple.
I was going to ask what this is on top of.
It's the center of my bird bath.
Hell yeah.
And the
That's
rest
awesome.
of the bird bath has water in it. That's why it's subdued. And then this is the center.
Giant concrete nipple.
Yeah.
I see.
Basically. Yeah.
Love bird baths. It's fantastic.
So I actually have a mini onslaught that's this big, Paul. And it's just, that's my nipple. Stop bringing it up.
It's made of stone. Leave
It's
it
like,
alone.
Ted is, go to your doctor.
That's the
Go
texture.
now.
That's not right. That's just
It's got that
Right,
disease
so-
from Game of Thrones.
Oh,
this
yeah.
is how you can do it not censored. Right there.
There you go.
It's censored. There's a bar over it. Just
Put some grayscale on it. Was that what was
Grayscale?
I
Is
think
that
it
the
is
disease?
grayscale, yeah.
that's
from
funny.
Game of Thrones?
Yeah.
All right.
You should
well,
stop talking about it.
Yeah, no doubt. I'm sensitive. Like literally.
Hey, look, we made 7:30.
Good stuff.
Perfectly.
We needed some nipple talk to do it.
Yeah.
But we got there. We got
there.
And that was starting 2 minutes late too.
Yeah.
I could have broke out my other mini onslaughts, but I didn't. So yeah, we got there anyway. Benchmade, you say?
Indeed.
Yeah, on that note, like you couldn't tell from the initial thumbnail, which should be fixed by the time this video goes live, we're talking about not the thing that the name might make you think.
It has officially changed to a PSK now. In the
Good. Okay,
Yeah.
good stuff. So yeah, as Paul says, we're talking about some PSKs.
yeah.
Now, I don't know about any of you, but if I were to name a knife a PSK, and the first two words were personal survival, the third word, in my mind, I mean, it writes itself. Don't have to think about it very hard.
Kit.
Yeah, obviously,
Hmm.
which is what Benchmade chose out of the, what the fuck?
Knight Rider, sir. Have you seen that black and red one with the carbon fiber?
It
It's
does
Kit.
have.
It's Kit. Come on. That's what I've said this whole time.
That's why the red thumb stud. It all makes sense.
Just had.
Are you looking up
you
Kit?
got a little toy of Kit? Because I was just putting up pictures.
No, I just unplugged something. Give me 2 seconds.
Oh,
Yeah.
fair. So yeah, Kit, Knight Rider. I mean, I guess, but that's not the standard version. So what's the excuse there?
Yeah. Well, especially for a knife that comes by itself. There's nothing else in the box with this other than the standard Benchmade.
My guess from that is Benchmade is saying this is all you need to survive is just this one knife. That's got to be the marketing spin on it. And if we look at Benchmade's website for the PSK,
Don't know that Benchmade's done any survival if that's the case.
well, they got rid of their original bushcrafter that was made in collaboration with. Anyway.
Touche.
Yeah, they basically just
There we go.
leaning on the fact that you can do things other than cut with a knife. Yeah, for the outdoor enthusiast who prefers to carry a hard-to-use folder for camping tasks and survival experiences, the 593 BK PSK is your personal survival kit and one tough and rugged lightweight bushcrafting tool. Yeah, they're throwing all the buzzwords at you there. Yeah, so it's kind of ham-fisted in my mind as far as the marketing is concerned, but the knife itself,
Gone through some specs yet?
not
No.
yet.
Good times. That's good because I got my screen's back up and running, so I can read specs. I can read specs again.
Excellent.
Overall length is 8.4 inches. Blade length is 3.44. Blade thickness is 2.8 mils. Handle thickness. Who cares? Wait, give me a goddamn weight. Jesus Christ. There we go. 5.328 ounces
For
with
the
MagnaCut
standard?
steel. 60 to 62. That is for the standard, I believe.
Okay.
For the CF version, it's none of your goddamn business. The weight varies to 5.223. So slightly lighter, but not by much.
Yeah, G10 and carbon fiber, the only difference really is just the bolster. So that's not going to be a massive amount of material.
Absolutely.
Do they specify what kind of Cerakote they're using on each blade surface? Because there seem to be a bit of a texture difference.
They specify it's Cerakote.
Cool. Okay, so
Or Cerakote.
I used to watch him fight.
Cerakote,
Ceracotti.
not Caracotti.
Is that any relation to Patrick Cotty? Coach?
Yeah, but he limps on the other leg.
Yeah, I've seen it happen live.
Oh,
He was winning that fight up until then. P.S.
Sure, she was. 100% was. Can we just quickly talk about the fact that the Rockwell of the MagnaCut is 60 to 62?
yes.
Which we kind of slagged on Kershaw recently for doing exactly the same thing.
Kershaw runs theirs harder.
Do they?
Yeah, 62, 64.
Oh.
Well,
Well,
but do they? Do they now?
I thought it was 60, 62.
I didn't think it was 60.
I definitely heard the tone of what you were saying, but I did
Yeah.
not understand a single word out of that. Thank you. That was horrible.
I do agree with the tone.
MagnaCut, yeah, MagnaCut from Kershaw and ZT, they're running at 62, 64.
Wow.
Yeah, no, they actually. That was going to come across very spicy, but I'll say it anyway. They give a shit. I'm not saying Benchmade doesn't, but
so here's a question because you can look it up real fast, and so we're showing viewers and such. What is Benchmade's tagged out MagnaCut running?
Yeah, I'm curious if it's a different Rockwell.
Then they're
Let's-
bushcrafty assisted.
I doubt that it's any different, but we can find out.
You doubt to find out?
I don't doubt that much. I just
Do
It is
bug or
Cerakoted.
bail or tag?
60 to 62 for the tagged out.
Ah,
They're both Cerakoted, though. I just realized.
That shouldn't necessarily matter.
True, if it's not a bacon.
Yeah. Okay, I will say you are going to get pretty good performance out of a very thin blade like the tagged out, even if it is Magna Cut at not as hard as you could get it. You're
Mhm.
still going to get amazing slicing performance out of it. I think the geometry is just so aggressive.
yeah. This knife, 2.8 mils, 2.79 mils thick.
Yeah, so that's it's not bad.
It's not bad, and especially with the depth of blade, with all those sweet 3D cutouts that they got on the blade.
Yeah.
Feelings about that? Pros, cons, yays, nays?
Well, I was joking with Paul about. I was like, oh yeah, is this kind of like Teflon pan with the pre-sections all kind of milled out, so you can put your eggs and a little bit of bacon and get some sausage in there, and then
Fry up a bacon bit?
it's
No,
truly
we've learned Teflon flakes off when you eat it. It's no good type of thing. You gotta do that better.
but
It
this is
keeps you
ceramic, you say.
lubricated on the inside, bro. It keeps you lubricated on the inside.
Listen,
Keeps things moving.
you know what? I'm not going to go there. As far as, but in a personal survival knife, something where hard use is the intended reason. Okay, sure. I don't mind a little bit softer on the Magnas, especially when you're going to get a incredibly tough piece of steel out of that. I was trying to look up the exact numbers in the background here, but
I do appreciate the 3D cutouts being just above the saber if you're talking about some sort of light batoning with your folder.
Mm-hmm.
Scientifically, that's right.
Like
It'll make things split, less friction. Kapow
Yeah.
for your buck, right? Things will not stick to it as much as a full flat or something.
yeah, there is that.
And coming off of the saber grind into the normal flat skis, if you got
Yeah.
some pockets in there, yeah, it might help your cause. So I can get it as a bushcraft tool, even as
Yeah,
cardboard.
well,
You
when
might
you're-
notice a difference on not so much friction ease.
When you're in the woods making your charcuterie boards around the fire, when you're cutting the cheese, as it were.
I take Boris and Minis, sir. Get smarter.
Well, that's gonna get all caught up in those. It's gonna be awful.
Yeah, you don't need to cut Boris and
Yeah, don't do it.
Don't worry about it.
But when you're charcuterieng your other cheeses, you've got a little cheese knife to do the action with.
Make sure you have the toughest cheese knife you can possibly get.
Yeah, of course. I got a baton through my cheese. It's an 80-pound wheel of Parmesan. Okay.
It's
I'm Italian.
It's your CSK, as it were.
Yeah, I rode it to camp.
So as far as
donkey? Like a donkey?
Yeah.
Okay.
As far as Laren's testing goes, and I'm trying to find a way to pull this up in a way that we can see it on stream here, that'd be super cool. I think this is it. Yeah. So Magna Cut around 60 to 62 is going to act almost as tough as Nitro V. Much tougher than that, you start to see a noticeable decrease in toughness. Still more tough, I should say, that even 64 and 65, it's still tougher than like S35VN at 61, 62. So it's still very, very, very tough, but it's even more tough when it's in that 60, 62 range.
And as long as it's over 60, like you're in the 61s geese, you should be stop bitching. Yeah. I mean,
the one steel that I want to see on that list is not there, but it's a
What are you
stainless
looking
steel
for?
list. It's a stainless steel list, so it's not a fair comparison. But 3V is what I wanted to see against it.
That's fair. I mean, I could probably find it.
But it gives you some 1428 Sandvik to put it up against for some comparisons. Yeah.
So, well, that's actually a good point. So the 14C Sandvik here, it tops out at about 30, just under 61 Rockwell, 30 foot-pounds before chipping in his C# test. He has a whole video about it. You should go take a look at it if you haven't. But 3V at between 60 and 61, it tops out at. See, there's a bit of a dip here. It tops out at about 34, 35 foot-pounds pressure. So
Mhm.
3V is more tough at a lower Rockwell compared to 14C Sandvik. I fucking love 14C. It's such a nice steel.
Yeah, it's
And
kind of crazy.
Jesus, look at AEBL just hanging up out there.
Yeah.
Peasants.
Yeah.
At 60, 61, Sid did 40. Jesus Christ. I need to make a hatchet out of AEBL or something.
I was gonna say, is that why it's so well liked as like razor blade steel? Because it'll deform and
Yeah,
come right back.
exactly. Yeah, the what is that called? Plastic deformation, like where it'll bend out of shape but then go back. Like AEBL, a lot of custom makers like it for a lot of reasons, but edge retention with AEBL is not nearly as impressive as a lot of other options out there. But honestly, if it's anything like the what I think is 13C, which is basically AEBL, the Miyabi that I sharpened recently, if it's anything
Mhm.
like that, personally, I'm happy to make that trade. And actually, on the note of sharpening, I don't think that the PSK would be terribly difficult to resharpen in the field. Just trying to bring that back around. MagnaCut, Paul, have you had to sharpen much yet?
I've sharpened once.
Okay. And how was
There were
the process compared to similar steels?
so to paint the picture, the knife is the Skaha 2 MagnaCut, like
Yep.
what is it, 2 millimeters thick blade?
Yeah.
So thin and slicey to begin with. And I had used it for since June until somewhere in like around December or so, I think. And it had just hit a point where it was no longer shaving, even after being buffed. Dennis buffed it for me one day at work,
Mm-hmm.
and I went to shave with it again, and it wasn't shaving. I took either the 8,000 or the 14,000, one of the white stones from the Spartaco system, the triangular stones,
The ultra fine, probably. Yeah.
and took about 5 minutes working along the edge at work, and it after a buff it was shaving again. So
Yeah.
doesn't take much from that point. It was definitely still a fantastic working edge. I could have let it go for significantly
Yeah.
longer, but that's
And North
usually where I like to sharpen is.
and North Arm, I want to say they run their MagnaCut a little bit harder than
No,
Benchmade.
it's like this. It's
Is
60
it like that
62.
as well?
Yeah.
Okay, so you could expect a pretty similar experience then. Um, and you know what? Having a super thin blade like that, having a little bit of extra toughness on top probably isn't a bad thing.
I think it helped. Yeah.
Yeah.
I will say when it went dull, it was doing okay, and then I got a like deep freezer and I cut up the box to throw it away. And
Yeah.
after that, it was no longer like it needed to touch a stone before it was usable again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, but I used it quite a bit between June and December that year.
Yeah.
It was my constant pocket carry for that time.
Awesome. And again, Benchmade, I know they know how to heat treat steel properly, at least within the ranges they decide. So I'm pretty confident in saying you're going to get a pretty similar experience out of these blades. Maybe not quite as slicey as the Skaha, but that's a bit of a tall order normally.
Yeah, the
Um,
thing's thin.
well, the other thing too here is I've got a size comparison with the Dragonfly, but another size comparison that I thought might be relevant was some of these spring-assisted options that Benchmade makes. You know what? A lot of these have automatically rotated when I copied them, and that's not fun to look at. Can I rotate you? There we go. Yeah, there we go. So here's one with the. It's not the torrent. That's this guy. But there's the barrage as well.
A vector.
Vector.
The
Thank
vector.
you. Yeah. Yeah. So it's a pretty common size for Benchmade assisted knives these days, apparently, and even into the past. Did I get a shot with the? 'Cause I think I had this knife here that day. Maybe
We
not.
got somebody in chat that wants your dragonfly there, Dennis.
No. What you do is you buy a K391, and then what you do is you buy a G10 handled one with VG10, and then you do a blade swap,
You make them kiss.
and then touch tips, and
Yeah.
then you can have it. But until that day comes,
No.
You can't have this one. This one is mine. There is not many dragonflies out there, but this one is mine.
Mm-hmm.
It's like Mike Stewart with his black micarta one. You can't have it.
Indeed. I
That's
think
fair.
you need a black micarta handle for this thing.
That'd be cool.
They
That'd be
made
cool
a
as hell.
polished black micarta.
That'd be
I'd be
neat.
down. I'd be
Yeah,
down.
yeah.
Yeah, back on the PSK, the personal survival kit.
Yeah. Not to say this thing doesn't have a decent number of features for a folding knife, but calling it a kit is a bit of a fucking stretch.
So, at first, I thought there was already a CRKT knife out there named the
Yeah.
PSK. There is not. There is not a knife out there named the PSK. But there is, however, a knife out there called the PSD.
Mm.
Sure is.
And it is the particle separation device.
Yep.
Oh.
So
Ugh.
sharp it'll slice particles. And then there was a PSD2.
Was it made in D2?
I think it actually was.
It fucking better be.
No, it was Oz
legitimately.
10, wasn't it? Yeah, it's Oz
Oh,
10.
Maybe
That
you're
is
right.
that
Yeah.
is a missed opportunity.
It is not an R2D2. But hang on a sec. It is Oz 10. Scroll up there for a minute,
Yeah,
or you could leave it here. So, most notably, if you look at the pocket clip placement, and then you look at the lack of lefty option pocket clip placements, but you can tip up and tip down both on the right hand side.
Oh. That's
And this
purposeful.
This knife only came out like 5 years ago. Not even.
Yeah.
This is not a 90s version. This is an add to cart knife on their website right now.
Yeah. That
So
seems
shocking.
very specifically pointed.
So shocking. Even the lanyard hole and the screws beside it are upset with you there, Dennis. Except for the third picture down. It got pretty happy there about it.
Yeah.
So
Same thing on the PSD one.
Yeah, it looks like it's a guest.
they would rather offset both clips than give me an option on the other side.
Hey,
This one doesn't work. This one doesn't work either. Fuck him. We'll just put it here anyway.
You can tip down lefty.
Yeah.
From the righty.
It actually works out okay because it's still in the seam of your pants. But
yeah, but then you still gotta pull your knife out and then turn it completely around.
It's awkward as shit. Ask me about
hello.
my mini skirmish, but yeah.
I almost lost a finger to my Grimsbow.
Yeah,
it's why you learn how to pinky Spidey flick. So when you pull it out, you can just do one of those.
That's the fucking worst thing you've said on stream in a long time.
What, a
pinky flick?
Spidey? Yeah. Have you not done a Spidey pinky flip into reverse?
No,
you're missing out, dude. You don't know her.
I've done it with the middle finger. I've even done it with the ring finger and felt comfortable, but not with the pinky. That's terrible.
Wait.
No, this is a good way for me to throw my knife. Maybe it'll work with a smaller Spidey hole. No, I'm going to throw my knife. I'm going to put this down before I hurt myself on my laptop.
I don't like it.
No, you shouldn't. So, you have no such issues on the PSD, thankfully. Thankfully, you could make a lefty carry option and the ambi lock is just as fine.
Yes, the PSK is much more of a better device and kit than the other PSD BSK. Although I thought particle separation was pretty cheesy.
I'm pretty sure that's how you start black holes.
No. That's all it
implode
takes.
The Earth.
No, you just need a good piece of obsidian.
That's all you need. I've heard that one. So there are actually some differences between the secondary lock on all three of these knives. Benchmade can't seem to make up their mind, but I'm hoping they've landed on something they want to stick with now. So the original secondary lock they had on their axis lock spring-assisted stuff is a small tab that you would push forward. A little rolled bit of spring steel would then poke down in front of the axis bar and prevent it from moving backwards. So you could lock the knife open or closed. I'm pretty sure we reviewed the vector, and I'm pretty sure we talked about the fact that when you close that knife, you can have the safety engaged. And the flipper will bump the safety out of the way, and then from that point, you can't open the knife anymore. So if you know the next time I close this knife, I want it to stay shut, that's a killer feature to have. I've not yet met a single person who thinks that way, though. It just seems like it'd be nice to have a secondary stop, prevent it from closing as well. And apparently Benchmade heard enough of these people, or thought so too, for this model, because they went back to the original system, but this time it's a 3D milled piece of steel. So I've got some close-up shots here. You can see a little triangle hooky guy coming down.
A little triangle hooker.
Yeah.
Dick Richards, Monomachus, Matches, Mono. What are both of you carrying?
There's a reason I didn't say the name earlier about the dragonfly. I was like, nope, I can't pronounce words that I know half the time, let alone ones I don't. Like that cage knife.
Yeah.
Hey, look at that triangular tab.
Yeah.
Nice. Did you get a picture of the not triangular tab, just in comparison?
For the wire, I did. So this is what the wire looks like on the barrage. And the triangle, the photo I have here, it isn't as far engaged as it can be. When it's fully engaged, it's very close to the back of the axis lock. This is just partway deployed so that you can see what the shape of the tab actually looks like. This is an interior shot. So yeah, it's a 3D milled or at least cast, but I don't know. It might actually just be a machine part. Whereas this used to be a bent piece of wire, which, I mean, clearly has worked for years. So,
well, it was like almost like a flat bar. You say like wire, but it was like, kind of like how they flatten the new Omega spring.
It's more like a leaf spring than anything else.
Spring material, yeah, for sure.
Thin, but yeah, it's wide. It's not like I guess that could be misrepresented. It's not like the same material that the axis lock is made out of. It's definitely different. There was one other size comparison I wanted to throw up. Yeah, this guy here. So here's a Sebenza 21, same profile as a 31. I think this one is more of a top-down view. As well as the Benchmade Torrent, which is another spring-assisted Benchmade I felt like carrying that day. But the big thing here isn't so much that the overall size is just about bang on. It's actually the grip area on these knives is not just quite identical, but like within a millimeter or two, same grip space. So if you've ever held a Sebenza and thought, yeah, this feels comfy in hand. Yeah.
Interesting.
Sorry, I'm giggling about grip space.
Don't worry about your grip space, man.
I didn't actually notice that.
Check out this grip space I got here.
Yeah. Well, the grip space I should have taken a closer look at would have been the Adamas compared to this knife, just because they have a very similar handle shape, but that hadn't crossed my mind until actually a couple hours ago. I was like, shit.
Until right now.
Yeah. But yeah, it's a good mid-sized knife, I think.
I'm just gonna call them mono. Doesn't like the tip. Doesn't like the PSK tip.
Like the tip of the blade?
Yeah. In chat.
Really?
A little snub nosy, but in a bushcrafty application. Yeah. I gets it.
Yeah, it's less about piercing, more about just tip strength. I agree.
Absolutely.
There are definitely some better looking blades the Benchmade has made in the past. I love this.
This one's almost reminiscent of the old bushcrafter.
Yeah.
Yes, kind of leaning into that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I know it's not identical, but it's similar to even like the Freak, isn't it?
I don't know. You own one.
Yeah, I know, but it's all put away and shit.
Yeah, a little bit. The Ritter tip.
Yeah.
It's a little Ritter tipped.
A little Ritter tip.
A little Rittery. Yeah, a little bit.
Doug's gonna play a little game called Just the Tip.
It's the worst game.
Oh, yeah, well. Speaking of grip space, here's some in-hand shots. Completely forgot about that. Oh, where'd it go? There it is. So yeah, decidedly mid-sized. Fits in the hand fairly well.
the one thing that I thought of when this knife came out more than anything else is every, I don't know, 3 or 4 years, Benchmade comes out with some sort of variation of a tanky knife. Like whether it's the first Adamas or the second Adamas or the turret or the
Oh,
loco
I missed the turret.
or the vicar or like it's just like their list goes on, and like the rift can almost be put into that category type of thing,
Yeah.
right?
You could probably put the Contigo in there too.
Yeah, for sure, right? They come out with these beefy knives and they seem to have a run of 3 to 4 years, and then Kaputskis, and that's all they last. They're not a Griptilian, they're not an Osborne, they're not a Bug Out. They have this run of we're gonna make these, and they last 2 to 3 years, something like that type of
Yeah.
thing, and then they fade off into this, and then there's another kind of year or two, and then like boom, they come out with. So like Benchmade talks about their flavor of the season. I mean, this one's like one of those Game of Thrones never-ending winters where it lasts for who knows
Yeah.
what until the next winter.
Is that a Benchmade thing or is that like a Siebert thing? Because
Well,
he's designed a lot of those.
a lot of them was a Seabird
Yeah.
thing as well, right? But I mean, not this one in particular.
No.
And like, yeah,
Not the Contigo, obviously. For sure.
yeah.
Right.
I don't think the Loco was his either.
Well, that
It could be
I
wrong.
thought the 808 was because it was the Australian Hawaiian area code or something like that.
818, 808 is the full size. 818 is the mini. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that sounds right. But that didn't have to do with Mr. Oregon Boy.
No, I just thought it was to do with who designed it.
No,
Who
no
designed
one. Benchmade designed the loco in house, I guess.
Okay.
But the Vicar was him. The turret wasn't him either.
No,
Right?
that was also Benchmade in house.
Yeah.
Look, when you've made enough Sieberts over the years, you can start making them yourself.
You start making your own Seabird. I don't
Well-
need a Seabird anymore.
Well,
Pretty sure they
fuck,
did that with
dude.
Ritter,
I am
too.
I was just
Seabird.
gonna say they did. Speaking of Ritter, they definitely did that already. So yeah, not too dissimilar.
we
Well-
don't need you anymore.
It's a ZT original design. What are you talking about? 308's never been done before.
Yeah,
It's a ZT original. It
On
is.
the
It's true.
one hand, get some good designing talent and have them design good knives.
Mhm.
On the other hand, I don't necessarily think it's a bad idea for Benchmade to come out with new knives every couple years instead of just releasing
Bug Out?
30,000 fucking colorways for the same model.
Look,
If you can't, if it's a one or the other type situation, I'd rather have one. Like
Benchmade's been looking across the aisle at Spyderco do it for years, and they
yeah.
thought they would try it themselves.
The problem
And
is
so far, it's
Spyderco-
working.
Well, it's yeah.
At least Spyderco
having-
gave us new steels.
Yeah,
They do a lot of the time, for sure. But they
No,
also
yeah.
make every flavor of Delica and Endura and
Well, even PM2 digicams
Yeah.
and blacks and
Yeah.
silvers and
but
yeah.
even within that, they're like, hey, I know you already have like 5 Delicas, but you want another one for our new sprint run with a new blade steel and a slightly different handle color? And people are like, yeah, fuck yeah, do it.
give me some super blue.
Yeah. I think there's a lot of benefit to doing that. But they are pretty happy to just discontinue shit. Like the fact the SOCP, well, I guess SOCP got re-released, but like we were just looking at the Loco.
Did
What
it
was
though?
that one that had the grip tape lasered on texture? The aileron.
The aileron.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not saying
Sometimes they
Spyderco
flop.
doesn't. They do.
What are you talking about? That it was so popular the first time that Buck released it that they had to come back out with it again.
Yeah.
And that's a fact. Don't
Not
get me wrong.
anymore.
I want more options of the fact. Give me the S90 carbon fiber one. But
Okay, so I think
manual.
I think they still actually make that auto.
Yeah, I know.
Once again, if
Even-
anybody wants to take a spring out, take a firing spring out, and mail that knife to me, that'd be super sweet.
Yeah, like do it.
So I do have to comment on a spring assist for a bushcraft knife.
Mm-hmm.
Have you seen? Well, okay, but do you remember how that would have been good things to get photos of for tonight? Do you do you remember what the inside of the barrages look like for the actual spring assist mechanism?
The
The coils?
coilies?
Yeah, so they've got a coil spring, but there's also like a shield, like a cup, like a stainless steel cup thing that goes over top of the entire assembly, and the spring kind of sticks in through the side. As far as spring assist mechanisms go, I feel like this one is pretty reliable, and I don't know that I would worry so much about like dirt and grime getting inside. Not the way these handles are constructed.
Maybe not necessarily dirt and grime. I'm almost even thinking as far as abuse, shock, choppy, batani, the abuse of springs taking vibration and stuff like that type of thing.
I mean, you should be disengaging the lock anyways, really,
Don't tell me
right?
what to do, Paul. God damn it.
The
He
better
sure told
method.
you.
Yeah.
Fuck's
Yeah.
sakes,
All
man.
right.
Come on.
Oh,
Do it. Don't get me
the
wrong.
only-
I did it with my
Does that look
Adonis.
like a Swiss Army knife to you? Come on.
look. Oh God, don't. Anyway, I I actually don't know. That's a good point about the shock in coil springs. I don't know how detrimental of an effect that would have, only because the coil spring is still trying to exert pressure. It's already preloaded even when it's in the fully open position. It wants to keep pushing past that stop in. That's why it opens as hard as it does. Um, I don't know. That would be interesting. If anybody's batoned routinely with a Benchmade that's spring assisted or has been really rough with throwing
haven't-
it or chopping, let us know.
Well, I
'cause
haven't batoned with mine, but mine pops off the track, right?
wasn't that a component that was coming loose? Wasn't that the
I don't know if it was or not, or if it was just wear and tear over being used for a long, like
Interesting.
my mini barrage
Flicked
was.
open.
Yeah, because I've never had that issue. Well, I never had that issue back when I had and carried my barrage. Yeah,
Now,
I don't know.
isn't there one thing to be said? I mean, you would know better than me, Dennis, because you had that exact thing happen with yours, with your
Yeah.
barrage, anyways.
I carried it for a good 2.5 years hard. Like it's, yeah.
But as far as a knife that is assisted and the assist fails, I feel like a crossbar or axis lock is probably one of the better options because it can still lock up. You know what I mean? You can still use the knife. There's
Once,
still a
so
detent. There's still
when it popped off the track, it was grindy on the inside because something was catching,
sure,
Yeah.
absolutely,
right?
but it would function for the weekend or whatever, right? No, it wouldn't open.
Might be broken by the end of it. Like it would be, yeah.
It was under some significant stress, yeah.
Okay, that's why I
I'm
asked
trying-
the question.
It's
Yeah.
been such a long time since the last time I took that thing apart to reset the spring, but last I remember, it just looked like it had slipped off track. And once everything was tightened back down, it felt like it wasn't going to go anywhere. But
Yeah, and
So-
it was.
But you know what? On that note, that actually, yeah, so maybe that is something to be concerned about. If you're going to be using your PSK hard, just be aware that if components do loosen off, that is something that can happen. Yeah. I know
No,
ProTech and Microtech use coil springs. They nest them in different ways where that's not as likely from what I've seen in disassemblies. But this just looks like it's bolster style covers. So
Well, the other thing I was going to say is one of the barrage downfalls is they had a really, really beautiful aluminum bolster on the fancy M390 barrage, but that also covered the pivot.
yes.
So there was no real way to tighten up the pivot on a barrage other than disassembling the bolster, like mainly taking apart the whole scale
yeah.
and tightening up the pivot and then putting the whole scale back together. Whereas this guy may or may not be double threaded.
It's
Did anyone actually tweak it?
no.
Didn't need it.
I I did go in.
I'm gonna have to tweak it on Tuesday when I
Yeah.
go in because I need to know whether this thing is D-shaped or not on the inside.
So what
And one
Dennis
of those
is,
screws is just useless, like a PM2. That's right, useless. Like
Okay,
yeah,
both the pivot on that knife and the no, I'm just kidding.
it
I'm
doesn't
confused
show
because
here.
usually Benchmade is good about having a D for their pivot, but also they're usually good about having a plate on the backside.
Yeah, just a flat plate that
Yeah.
does flat platey things like that. Look,
I,
it's a flat plate that does flat platey things.
I'd be
It's
curious to see exactly where the spring attaches, given that both sides are tooled. It is interesting. Yeah. Um,
or is it dual keyed? Do you need two skis of the
Yeah.
two T10s to twisty twisty?
Twisty tens.
I hope not, because I like the fact that it's deed. But then if it is, why make the other one like the things? Or is it because the coil springies is different? I can't wait to see it
That's
disassembling on this thing.
yeah.
Yeah.
Would be curious to know.
Yeah.
Um,
Maybe
yeah.
the central post is deed. One of them tightens the blade, and the other one is something to do with the spring.
Could be.
That's great for random people to have access with and they don't know what it does. I hope not. I hope that's not the case. Oh my god. People
To
would
start
be
loosening things off
oh,
until a spring
people
goes
would
flying.
be yeah, straight up just the warranty department would hate all of that.
This isn't going to end in tears. Not at all.
I wonder what the patent on this thing is. Is it for the new?
It's for the design
double lock?
patents. So Benchmade files a design patent for every new knife they come out with.
Yeah.
That's it. That's all it is.
Do they get them?
Yeah. Yeah, design patents are pretty easy as long as the knife or the design of whatever it is actually novel, then yeah, it just can't be too generic. Which actually might be the reason these windows on the blade are there. It could very well be the case that they attempted to, or they know that, well, that handle is a little bit too generic. That texture has been seen on other knives before, but these not quite cut through window panes, it's distinctive.
And the lanyard is straight up just a bug out lanyard.
Yeah. Nothing
Like
terribly.
that back end is like straight up they stole the bug out triangle off the back of it and turned it into a lanyard on that guy, right? So it could be the new bar.
If you are looking at this thing and you just let your eyes glaze over or blur a little bit, it does look like the outline of just a larger bug out. And I don't hate that. I actually
Have they made a bushcraft bug out now? Because they've made every other type of bug out.
Yeah, I mean they didn't call it an out of any kind, so
Yeah, I'm confused.
yeah, that's okay. It's okay that you're confused.
It's a normal day.
Yeah. Did we talk about price point on these things?
No, and that's actually I was going to dive into that. 400 for the green G10 with gray G10 and 450 for the carbon fiber bolster and black G10.
Following Benchmade's 2024 pricing trend, for sure.
So is the carbon fiber and the red thumb stud worth $50?
I mean, I like that model better. I'll be honest, I like the look of that one a little bit more. But I don't know if I'd spend the extra $50.
I think if I'm already spending $400, an extra $50 for the version that I do actually prefer more wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. But I like the look of the green and the gray. So
I don't dislike it by any stretch.
if the entire handle was some form of carbon fiber, or if they had done like a different or more complicated milling texture on the more expensive one, then maybe it would make more sense to me. But I like the look of the standard PSK, so yeah.
But you get a red thumb stud.
The thing that confuses me is that they didn't go for like S90V for the blade steel. Like normally that's kind of their thing, but I guess they wouldn't just be charging $50 more.
Well, where do you go from MagnaCut? Like it's with the subpar one be S45 and the good one be Magna Cut, but then you're looking at more of a $50 price difference, right?
Yeah, that's why I was saying I would think S90V would make make more sense. Maybe
Um,
leave the blade uncerakoted.
Not in a
Like,
bushcrafting, not with their survival
Nah, I know.
marketing. What, Paul?
I might be more interested in it in S45.
You think so?
If the price point had a bigger gap, like it was 400 went down, not the other way around, not the
Yeah.
expensive one going up, but the
Yeah.
400 one going down to an S45.
I want to see people use that steel more. Benchmade has one folding knife in it right now, right?
Two,
What's the other folding knife?
just
I guess
the
they have the mini.
the smaller
Many
one,
of the
yeah.
same knife.
It's
Which is not really a good answer, but it is an answer nonetheless.
we're
Haha,
technically
sir.
correct. The worst kind of correct.
Both the worst and the best. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I
Just feels spiteful.
gotta be honest. Outside of the regular Benchmade complaints, I don't think I have many complaints overall about the design of these knives.
No.
There was some fucking awful lock stick on one of them, but
Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah. We were going to dive into that too, for sure.
yeah.
That's also the one that has the more textured blade too, isn't it?
Yes, but the blade is exposed, like the steel is exposed to where the
Yeah.
lock bar interface is.
That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So some serious lock stick out of the box. I don't know if it was just a break-in period. I don't know if the machining on the blade tang versus the access bar. Not sure. But
Yeah.
what Paul actually noticed was that if you nudged it, was it Paul? If
Yeah.
you nudged it open
Twas I.
and just let the spring take it, the lock stick wasn't bad. It was bearable. It was easy enough to have open again. Yes, 100%.
Yeah.
If you had any sort of flicky at the same time that spring took that knife, it was a biatch to try to close. Biatch.
Yeah.
Biatches.
You need
All
like
the
two
biatches.
hands.
I was gonna say, two hands with that knife. That's pretty awful.
So when they say like it's spring assisted, you don't have to snap it open. Like this
They
is
really mean it.
like you can't. You won't be able to close it again if you do. So
Yeah.
don't. So just don't. Just don't.
I don't know exactly what the root cause of that could be. But if I had to guess, it might be something to do with the access bar. I'm hoping that with a knife that is already as heavy as this, they didn't bother putting a titanium one in. If it is titanium, it should go away with time. But this is a kind of heavy-duty spring-assisted knife. I don't know that I don't know that titanium makes the most sense in this case. Steel's just going to be
They're
stronger.
usually pretty good at advertising if they do, right? Like it's yeah.
I didn't see it on the page for it, but yeah.
Do they do it outside of the bug out?
I don't know actually.
Maybe
thought
the
maybe-
bailout, if anything, right? But yeah. No, I had something and now I don't have something.
Oh, I stole it.
Oh, the Jimpy Jimps on the backspacer. Did we get a picture of that?
I believe so. Yes, I have a
It's all
picture
right.
of both of them.
I like the texturing.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Them Jimpy Jimps.
It's not bad.
Good for the reversies.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
I do appreciate it when makers know that it's expensive to make a very flush backspacer, so they'll not fudge things, but they'll do patterns or they'll inset it a little bit so it visually doesn't look awful if something is very different one knife to the next. This is a good use of texture, yeah.
But you will see on the bottom little piece of the backspacer where it goes flush with the bottom of the handle. They do a pretty good job there on both the green and the black. It looks pretty contoured. Benchmade's got that science down pretty good on not being gappy and crappy, as it were. Yeah.
The old gappy crappy.
You go, you gotta watch out for Krabby Patty. It's
Yeah.
I do like the fact too that the aggressive texture here isn't above the handle scale. It gives you the texture without it just tearing you up.
yeah, and like even
Kinda see.
Joe's Torrent, kind of same
Yeah.
idea.
Yeah.
Where they realize that we're human softies that can fit inside those squishy parts and feel the texture. So you don't need to make it
Reach
all
inside
raised
them
up like
squishy parts.
a stegosaurus, right? Like it's just that ends up being too aggressive,
Mhm.
and you're holding a steep country's handle, and you're like, why are all these metal bits sticking out? That's weird. Stop doing that. Stop being weird.
You're being weird about it.
It's just being weird.
Oh.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Even the Hidden Canyon. They do round it off pretty hard on this, but
even yours goes below the baseline, right?
No,
Like,
no.
yeah,
mine's all
No?
exposed. It
even
goes
the
below and
low.
above.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Is even the lows go below, like below the low. It's not just raised up.
Come on, get in there. There you go.
Are you putting your squishy bits in the crevices?
I was trying.
That's where the get in there got
Yeah.
from.
Well, I was trying to put the knife back in the sheath, to be honest.
That's
It
fair.
was it was fighting me. It didn't want to click in properly.
It's Benchmade Canyon, Hidden
Yeah.
Canyon.
It sure is.
Anything else? Anything else?
I'm happy that they decided to use G10 for the handles of this guy, as opposed to aluminum.
Well, I mean, weight's already 5 ounces. I don't know if you need to do much more than that.
Yeah.
Eh, throwing shit around.
A little more texture for the outdoorsy kind of.
Well, and they could have done aluminum bolsters. And thinking about Dennis's barrage again with the aluminum bolsters in particular. Yeah, no, I'm just happy that didn't make an appearance here.
Yeah, I'm glad they went with the two-tone G10s.
Yeah.
That's a good contrast with keeping costs down, and it still makes it look good.
It's kind of a thing they've been doing too with all the meat crafters and stuff that you can customize too, right? So they're no stranger to butting two pieces of G10 up to each other and making it look good.
Well, and they did a nice enough job of blending the where's it close up? You can kind of see it here. They did a really nice job blending those two surfaces together. I've heard it referred to as an antique fit or a heritage fit, but effectively you have two surfaces of two materials coming together rather than trusting that they're going to be exactly the same level or that they're going to be at the same height. You can contour them or radius them so that they're at 45-degree angles or rounded to each other so that when they butt up, it looks good no matter what the exact tolerance is. And yeah, very well used here. Because matching that stuff up gets expensive real quick unless you have, a lot of time, money, patience.
I don't have any of those things.
No. And immediately I'm thinking of things like the Best Tech Swordfish, where they do things like have different colored G10 bolsters butted right up against each other and nearly smooth, seamless. But to do all that and then have a gripped and grooved texture like this, I think this is well done.
Well, and even having two separate pieces that you're machining, that when they sit beside each other, that machining all lines up with each other. It's pretty slick.
Yeah. No, I was
Well,
overall.
what you do is you have two sheets of one of green G10 and one of gray G10, and you put them through the milling machine at the same time, you see.
Oh, yeah.
Possibly.
That makes sense.
Well, then they should be making a gray with a green bolster and a carbon fiber with a black bolster. Or maybe a carbon fiber with a green bolster. And a gray with a...
That's for the alternative universe, you see?
Yeah.
No, that's for the Benchmade customizer when they come out
Yeah.
with options in the.
Touche.
They've been saving those pieces for a while, sir.
Yeah, these are all offcuts of other projects now. This is a pretty wide handle.
Give us more money, like Spyderco. Give us more money now for these offcuts. Yeah.
I was gonna say, I think Benchmade outproduces Spyderco by a wide margin, but
Yeah. I don't know. Other than price points, regular bitchy bitches. Extra
yeah.
$50 for thumb studs is kind of crazy. I don't know if there's anything too much that we can say.
Yeah. No, this is a really nice build. I like it. I think the by far the worst part of this thing is the name. Feels great in hand. It's in a size range that I typically enjoy and that a lot of people seem to enjoy. These sizes of knives, like outside of a survival knife, this is a thin enough, a slicey enough profile that this could be your EDC easily if you don't mind something a little bit heavier.
Well, and this definitely falls into the range of more robust, but still at 2.8 mils thick. It's still not like super wedgy, like for day-to-day tasks. That's
Yeah.
still thin enough that it's
Well,
not overboard, right? Like
Exactly, especially with that decently high saber grind on it too.
And
Comes down to a fairly
what
thin behind the edge.
wasn't both of the knives that we reviewed last week 3 mils thick?
something
so.
like that, yeah.
Yeah. So I mean,
2.7,
considering
yeah.
a
Not
lark
bad.
with a thinner blade, yeah.
I've been re-falling in love, I guess, with saber ground blades, both in appearance as well as utility. There's just something about having that wide flat traveling along the length of the blade that I like.
It's just lust, Joe.
Well, probably.
I think it's because Ontario went out of business and you've just got this nostalgia for
maybe.
No one cared about saber grinds before Ontario. It's fine. Spyderco, maybe. They got their sticky little fingers in some saber grinds too, but I mean,
They did.
They did, but most of their stuff's full flats at this point, no? Maybe not most.
and what was the other stupid term that people used for
No,
instead of a
most.
saber grind? It was a saber or something else.
A partial flat?
It was something stupid like that. Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm like, no.
You stop that.
That's not descriptive. Like that. No, that doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, that could be a Scandi grind.
Yeah.
Partially flat.
Like, leave me alone.
Yeah. Sir, this is a Wendy's.
Oh God. Yeah.
Cold Steel does have a few saber grinds as well, for sure.
Oh yeah, 100%. Their Recon series comes to mind. All the AD whatevers, they're basically all saber grinds, except for the Tontos, which tend to be hollow, I guess. But compound grinds, as it were. Yeah. Maybe we can round out actually talking about price a little bit more, because these knives don't exist in a vacuum. There are other options in and around the same price level, but not so many if you're looking at American made.
Well, and heavy duty American made with MagnaCut.
That are assisted with some pretty involved milling patterns on the scales.
Well, and even regardless of what the knife looks like or anything else, like just give me those specs.
Yeah.
And like it's I'm sure there's some is Medford's using MagnaCut yet?
Probably.
I think he does in a few stuff, but
Hinderers got some Magnas.
Oh yeah, Hinderer's got MagnaCut. Still running a little soft, I think, for what most people were saying, but
so what's your price points though? Like for these guys?
Well, for Hinderers,
and everyone wants to shit on $400, but what's your price points in something that's heavy duty MagnaCut?
On the flip side, doesn't Hogue use MagnaCut for like half this price?
Well, they do with plastic handles. I don't
was
know
gonna
if
say,
Okay.
I don't know if they do with G10, and I don't know if they do in this size range. Like again,
That is fair.
they were competing with Griptilians and Bugouts
the
with
biggest
Hogue. Yeah.
yeah, the biggest cost factor looking at these knives is the machine time on the blade and on the handles. That's just very easily, it's not necessarily the materials, it's the machine time. And when you start thinking about it that way, like you'd brought up Hinderer. So Hinderer has a small shop. He has employees. It's not just him cranking out one-off customs one after another. There's repeated models that he makes. And sure, titanium handles, but
I don't want to hear about him cranking it off, to be honest with you.
well, you don't have to.
Yeah.
No, that's why he's got a crew to crank off for him.
They're still cranking off his stuff though, Paul. So
Yeah,
don't
oh,
worry
yeah.
about it. Yeah,
Yeah.
so don't worry. They're not.
Don't
they're
worry,
not-
I got a crew for that.
They're
they're not-
working around the clock.
Yeah.
I don't think
night,
there's an L in that word.
the night shift gets paid more. They must. It's
They have to. It's contractual obligation at this
Yeah.
point. But
There's
yeah,
laws.
I do take 3D machining into consideration when it comes to price points these days, because if it's everybody says, yeah, I can get cheaper in China. That's fine. This is American made. You have to just accept the fact that there are going to be increased prices.
Oh, the
Paul's
the
just
best
not
review
moving
of our
past it.
show. No, the best review of our show just happened in chat.
Oh,
And
good
it's
stuff.
just, I hate this show.
Oh,
week after
yeah.
week, pissing people off. That's good.
Yeah.
It's good. Yeah.
See you next week, folks. Yeah, or actually, no, but we'll get to that later.
Yeah.
I wish I had a crank off crew. Don't we all, sir? Don't we all? Experience, precision. Yeah. What are you carrying?
Yeah.
Thanks for joining
Is
us.
it precise? We should probably ask James Lager in chat as well.
Laguerre.
Yeah. Not worth $400. Yeah, maybe not.
Well,
But then again,
But
if
again,
you want,
like,
if
again,
you want to
That's what
check,
prompted my conversation, right? Like, it's
yeah, 100%. You're what else can you get for the same dollar value made in the States? That's
U.S. made. U.S. made is the big kicker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because yeah, Two Sons making shit with S90V, and they're making things with MagnaCut now, man. You can get cheap knives with excellent materials.
Yeah, let's
but
see some cutting tests from Pete and find out it's
Sure.
really S35. Like,
well, there you go.
it's-
But but even the Two Sun aside, there are other companies that are but even companies like Riot, even stuff like that stuff is getting up there. You are paying good money for similar stuff.
Didn't Riot just come out with like a Sandvik for like 150? There's some new model.
I was interested in that. They had like was that the one with the pivot lock?
Sure.
Yeah, it's some
Joe's
interesting.
saying like I know more.
Well, you brought it up. I assumed you knew a little, but
I wasn't even sure it was Sandvik. So I gotta be honest with you.
they had a budget something or other come out recently. So, but yeah. Anyway,
Protect Mordax and MagnaCut. Beautiful thing, sir. I was just talking to Paul about the Mordax
very nice.
recently. How is China? They're importing it from Crucible. Crucible's highest bidder, man. You want some, you got it. Like that's how they're getting their MagnaCut.
Who's getting MagnaCut? Sorry,
China. How is China getting MagnaCut? The same way everyone else in the world gets MagnaCut.
They're buying it.
Place an order from Crucible.
To be honest, I actually don't know if there are any Chinese OEMs using MagnaCut right now. I'm drawing a blank on if that's even
Bestech?
a thing.
Bestech's got some.
Do they?
Yeah, 100% they do.
Okay.
Already on the market. Your stupid Spanish thingy that we looked at like a month and a half ago had MagnaCut in it.
Stupid Spanish thingy.
The Vaquero looking ball bearing skinny tip on the back from Bestech.
That does sound something
And
stupid
then
I would be into.
it
but I'm
got
drawing a blank.
released at the same time that the big huge Bowie with the huge giant pivot collar that they were talking about interchanging pivot collars, and then nothing happened with that knife. That shit got released all at the same time.
Okay.
And Bestech is the OEM in China. Well, not anymore. They're becoming less and less. Anyway,
MagnaCut isn't showing any results. What the hell?
on
S30
Bestech's website, sir.
That is Bestech's website.
Well, that I know.
S35 is coming up, but MagnaCut's not doing anything. Are we sure there's models of Magnica coming out of Best Tech right
I
now?
was almost 100% positive. I'm on it.
Okay. So here's something. We're going to go to Knife Center while Dennis is doing his own research there. We're going to go to knives, folding.
The Sambac, SAMBAC. The new Swordfish 2 is being released in Magnicut.
Ah, cool.
The Razon, Razon. That's the one that I was talking about for you, Magnicut.
Yeah, I like the look of that motherfucker.
Why did it
It's-
not come up with Magnicut? Because it's Best Tech's website. That's what I was saying, Joe. You
okay.
didn't get what I was saying. Is it's Best Tech's website? You see, their search
Okay.
function is mainly for
Oh,
aesthetic purposes.
no, dude. They've got it labeled as M-cut. That's why it didn't show up.
What's
MCAT.
if you scroll up on the
M-cut blade. They're not using the phrase Magna Cut. Weird. Because as far as I know, there are restrictions on where you can where Magna Cut can be sent, and there's a company I've been looking at getting some stuff. Waterjet. They won't. They specify they will not send Magna cut blanks to Russia or to any Asian countries.
okay,
Say it
what about
right on their
this
website.
Best Tech Streetlet? Strelit.
Oh,
Sounds like a street toilet.
Kind of.
oh.
Strelit.
14C Sandvik. You're
There's
saying
not
there's a
fancy
Magna
Magnicut. There's not a
There's an S35VN version, but I'm not seeing a Magna Cut version.
um
I'm gonna search M-cut.
Black G10. Well, the reason I ask is because Blade HQ has that knife from Best Tech in Magnicut, not from MCut.
Okay, so it's possible that certain companies are buying directly from NSM following a discussion with Laren. I don't know exactly what this all means necessarily, but I know
The
that it is
Razon,
harder to get Magna Cut in China right now.
okay, the Razon is quoted as Magnicut on Blade HQ's website.
Okay.
So it looks like Blade HQ is all of those models they are
Oh,
claiming are Magnicut on theirs.
same thing on Knife Center. So interesting. Okay. And yeah, there seems to be some sort of issue with Magna Cut becoming as commonly available compared to say S35VN. Not sure how, not sure why, but
Because big companies want it and they're going to pay more money to keep it in house in USA.
yeah. But I don't have access to those exact details.
Yeah.
Exact details, you say?
Well, I'd be heavily suspicious of the heat treatment. I mean, that's a fair assumption to make about companies you're not familiar with, but as far as Best Tech goes, as far as we Sabibi, they guys who are doing independent testing they're at least coming back with saying, yeah, it's what it says on the tin. There haven't been too many big scandals about this stuff. If anything, American companies have flubbed it more often and more frequently than some of the bigger Chinese OEMs. And I think if I had to guess why, it's because they understand that it's easy to break that trust. And then once it's gone, it's going to be pretty hard to rebuild. I mean, if you look at the situation that happened with Bark River some time ago, people are still complaining and talking about that today. Same thing with CRKT. They had made some limited edition knives that were effectively made out of tool steel instead of the S35 they were supposed to be. So, I mean, shit happens. But as far as not doing a correct heat treatment, the only company that I know of that routinely does stuff like that is Tucson, which we mentioned earlier. And they've been called out horribly for it. And if you notice, you can't get Tucson out of like anywhere except two particular stores, I think.
Well, you can get them from Alibaba.
Well, there you go.
Should be telling enough as it is.
And if you look at the spec sheet for the knives that they produce, that should be more than enough to get people interested. But if the steel is one big question mark, then yeah.
And I'm glad you brought it up, experience precision, as far as the just conversation goes, because I am curious about they would not sell to China, because, yeah, definitely they stated it at whatever it was, Blade Show, Shot Show, whatever it was, that when they were releasing their new best techs that they were going to be in MagnaCat, right? So,
Mhm.
yeah, and I don't know if it's selling directly to them, but if they are selling to a supermarket metal superstore type of thing.
I think, yeah. I mean, if I had to guess, S35 and S30 and commercial grade steels like that, they're often used in food processors, like at a factory level. And knowing that, I'm sure that, yeah, just like Dennis said, metal supermarket style business probably imports just a crap ton of steel from the States to be used in factories like that. But Magna Cut is still a fairly low volume production. Like, I mean, you have a ton of knives being produced in it right now, but you have a lot more being made out of 154 CM. You have a lot more being made out of Sandvik. Like just by volume, it's just not even close.
Well, and I will say that, like, I mean, I have a Viper knives with MagnaCut, and so far I haven't been wowed. I put a new edge on it and I've used it a little bit, but I haven't hard used it enough to see whether it was a burnt edge or whether it was just a soft heat treatment on an Italian made, which some of the Italian companies have been put under scrutiny in the past as well, right? So,
Well, even like Leatherman was supposed to be making more of the arc. They were supposed to arrive in February, and they're finally arriving here soon, hopefully.
Yeah.
you might be misquoting because I think that's talking about the ratchet driver, not the arcs.
Oh,
But
Oh,
okay.
the arcs are still offset.
oh no, I think the arcs are coming in, but I think that quoted time that Leatherman gave us was not for the arc in particular. I think that was for
Okay.
the ratchet. I think
Okay.
that was for the ratchet
That's
driver
fair. But even the fact that it took this long between the first batch and the second
Oh
batch,
yeah.
over 8 months. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah,
We're in.
And this is a
tells
company
you that
like Leatherman that who sells well outside of the knife world niche.
yeah.
Like,
So just the fact that they potentially weren't able to get enough Magna Cut to for production.
Took 8 months to get their second batch of arcs out on the shelf. Type of,
Yeah.
yeah.
craziness.
Demand
Yeah.
is not small, right?
No, demand is probably outstripping production at this point.
I mean, we haven't dabbled. Well, we dabbled on it a little bit, but 940s and 945s in MagnaCut, like it's Benchmade scooping up a lot of it. That's for sure.
Yeah.
They're not being
Not
shy about introducing it to their catalog.
it's
That's for sure,
exactly
right? So,
exactly the phrasing I was going to use there. Yeah.
Mad Yoko, what is up? Distinguished gentleman talking about the Pokies
Ah,
and the
yes.
factor of them Pokies.
Well, the
the pokies
factors.
and the jabbies.
I don't think you can call it, at least me, a distinguished gentleman as I'm sitting here in a tank top, but
It's hot. It's
yeah.
hot out. I have an AC unit like right there, but
Oh, I
It's
do
a
too. It's right there.
it's a league. I mean, it's sports affiliated.
Eh,
So,
I got cats on my t-shirt. Very, very, very distinguished.
Yes, look at this distinguished gentleman.
Yes, meow.
anyway.
Yeah. I guess we could rate this thing and move on to something else if you guys want.
I have a score.
You do.
Do you know? Okay.
I do. I'm gonna give it 86,476 beans.
Good
Because
lord.
that's how many beans you can buy for $400 American.
I see. I see.
So
Yeah.
you could either buy that many beans or a single PSK.
Okay. So the question is, do you know the question? Can you
A
guess the
bean
question?
weighs about a gram. So
No.
there's
No, that's not the question. Come on.
Okay.
I'm asking the question. Are they magic?
magic beans.
Like, fuck yeah. What other questions do you think I would ask at this point?
The math I did was specifically on kidney.
Oh, so magic could be something else entirely.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, keep your kidneys.
I mean,
Thank you.
trying. Vaguely threatening, but whatever.
For now. For now.
Oh my.
Joe, do you have any readily available score?
A readily available one. No, it's all sold out.
All right. All right. Um,
Where's that
I'm
use
going to
button?
score this the letter C. Because when it comes to the 5 or 10 C's of survival, it's one. It's not a kit. It's one C. It's one letter C. It's a cutting
Nice.
tool. That's
Nice.
all it is. It's not cordage.
Yeah, it's not a container.
It's not a container. It's not a combustible. I don't
I
even
mean-
think you can get a spark off the bitch because it's Cerakoted. You get
Aw.
one C, the letter C, sir.
You might get one off the like sharpening choil.
Yeah,
How are you gonna get there?
I didn't get a fucking picture of the inside of it. Oh no, because it's like it's not coated. Oh, you can kind of see the rim of where it's not coated, but up to
Ah,
that
you could-
point,
Use it like the anonymous, bro. Come on.
yeah,
I
you could
hate
do
you.
it. You could do it. Oh,
Same. The letter C. That's what you get.
I was gonna.
And,
One C for thee.
I mean, it could be a capital C. I'll
That's
give you that.
It's a good C.
It's not like one of these fancy.
It's not a C plus, is what you're saying.
It's not like a Roman times type of C.
Mhm. Is it like a Comic Sans C?
No. It's
Papyrus?
Oh,
the like block bold C.
Little Arial.
It's chunky. It's chunky.
that's
yeah.
okay. That's all right.
Well, you were talking about versions of the bug outs, right? And if there was like this bug out in the multiverse that was like big and on steroids and just like, ooh, it's that kind of C. Yeah.
No, I like the sound effect for it. Just, ooh.
It's, if a bug out made guttural steroid sounds. So,
Yeah. I mean, this one kind of does with the spring assist.
that's what I mean. Yeah. It's like a bug out went, ooh. He's like a little hooky.
It's god awful. I hate it. I hate all of it.
It's all right. Joe's still
Well-
got to give it a score after that bullshit.
Yeah,
So,
I'm stuck between rating this thing a 6 for the 6 pieces of metal that are missing off of this blade, or giving it a 1. Because this is one thing. It's a knife.
It's not a kit.
That name still pisses me off.
What's worse? This being a kit or the squid extra medium being extra
Oh
medium?
my god. They're both terrible.
Yeah. Yep.
I don't know. They're both bad. They're both bad.
Both bad and they should feel bad.
I don't know that one is necessarily worse. Because when the Squid XM came out, there wasn't a large squid. There wasn't an extra large squid. There was nothing larger than the squid within the squid family.
Well, they made one that was extra mediumer than the original.
Yeah, so the
Yeah.
OG squid, was just a
Extra
squid for
medium.
many years. And you could get it in all stainless steel or
Yep.
G10.
So
And
extra
they wanted
medium.
to change. They wanted to change the size, but not too much. You see,
Where they did.
they just wanted to medium it up a little bit. Jesus, I can't speak.
And you know what? It is like a mid-sized knife still. It's not a big knife, so like, you know what? Okay, you know what? I hate the Benchmade's name much more.
There you go.
Yeah, you know what? I still don't like extra medium just on principle. It's just bad. It's just bad. But this is worse.
The
glad
kit
that we got to the
thing
bottom of
was definitely a miss the mark, I think.
Yeah.
Not sure what kit.
There's also like
Personal
Have you
survival
brought
knife.
your survival kit? You're like, you bet. You got it right here, bitches. Look
maybe
at-
nobody told Benchmade that knife starts with K.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Maybe.
guess because like it's right there, and yeah, it's not that original, but it would have been better. Like
Yeah.
so much better.
Well, and you could have sold it on like personal survival knife in the sense like you can carry it EDC, and then when you're out in the woods, if you need it, you got it. Just have it with you. Have that
Again.
thing on you.
You know, he got that thing.
Yeah.
Speaking of shit, Benchmade has on them. I took some
Goo 'em.
photos,
Dirt?
and I think
Do you have dirt on them?
well, no.
Maybe. Oh, okay.
I mean, we all kind of have dirt. We were marveling over the variety of dirt that was in front of us.
What?
Go on.
What's the
There's
dirt?
some variations between the same model of knife over a
yes.
spectrum of time. Yeah.
Yes.
Speaking of shit, Benchmade can't get right. No.
Are we talking about green according to Benchmade?
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh, okay.
I just figured this would be a fun topic to talk about. We're reviewing the Benchmade tonight.
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
And it looks like Dennis sent a picture too. Yeah, that's nice.
Oh,
So we'll start with Dennis's picture because that most clearly highlights what we're talking about. So one of my unstated reasons that I was happy Benchmade didn't do aluminum for these guys, the PSKs, was because their coloration of aluminum is not necessarily consistent over time.
Oh, even me and Dennis got our baillets at the same time, and they are very different.
So we get our Benchmades directly from Benchmade. This isn't an AliExpress bullshit. This isn't there was a stop anywhere. We didn't secondhand shop. None of that. None of that. This is directly from factory.
Very different.
And you bought yours all at the same time.
Yeah.
so the one on the left and the one on the right
Yes.
are the one on the left is Paul's. The one on the right is mine without the window breaker anymore. So those two we got at the exact same time. The one in the middle is the current model on the shelf as we speak.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that's fun.
Amazing.
That's fun.
I'm noticing there's a fair amount more wear on yours than there is on mine.
Well,
the peaks of those diamonds are looking a little shiny.
Yeah.
I carry it, sir. I carry it.
I've started carrying mine again.
Yeah, you got some catch up to do.
Yeah. Oh, 100%.
By that, I'm going to pour ketchup into your knife when you're not looking.
I assumed. I
Of course.
assumed you were going to make me watch, to be honest.
Yeah. Ketchup. Just going to put a packet in there so it's booby trapped while it's open, and then when you go to close it, it'll be like a squib pack.
Yeah. It's like when you put ketchup packets all around the rim of a toilet.
I've been shot.
Gross.
Yep.
So Benchmade seems somewhat unique in the fact that their aluminum anodization changes over time. And sometimes not over time, sometimes just at the same time.
Sometimes you get something that's almost brown looking.
Yeah, your green's definitely not.
Kershaw seems to have it figured out because I've seen green, like olive drab styled green anodized blur handles come into the shop at the same time that we've had the same model knife on our shelf purchased within, a few months ago, whereas a customer's knife would be very old, like 5-6 years old at least. And the colors are almost identical. And that's even after
with the wear.
Even with the wear, even with the pocket lint and all the other shit that's on the handle, the colors are extremely similar.
Yeah, their green is their green until the end of time, right? Like,
yeah,
and their blue is the same.
I love their blue. Their blue ano
yeah.
is no joke. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
But this extends further than Benchmade's bailout line. I got a photo here of the counter. Let's see which one of these is going to be the cleanest. Yeah, let's do that one.
I mean, I could send you a picture that I took of all of the green models that we have.
Oh,
including ours.
That would be the one that I have up here. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So we've got the 3 already shown
yes.
here. Then we've got the little guy, the full immunity, and then we got a 940, and then we got a mini 940 or a 945 rather, and none of these greens are exactly the same. Not a single one of them matches anything else on that surface.
Even the 940 and the 945 are not the same green.
No. Drastically different across the board.
Which
We
we just
thought
talked about Magna Cut bronzies. We're not the same bronze either, right?
no.
Like it's
Refer to our earlier review. Yeah,
I do like the variation in the sense that like you can select the one that you like to a certain degree.
but
But
can you?
well, that's what I was gonna say is, but I do like the consistency of knowing what you're gonna get every time you buy.
Yeah, like if you're in house and you see one that you like, that's sweet and great and pick it up or whatever. But
Yeah.
if you're in house and it's not the one that you like, are you now that guy that's going to annoy the clerk to open up three different boxes just to see if the greensies are the ones that you like?
Well,
And
even
then
if
walk away disappointed when it's not, right? Like it's
yeah,
yeah, well, even if you ordered it online, if I ordered based off of my photo online and I got your knife, I might not be happy with that. I mean, I wouldn't care because I kind of dig the fact that yours is so brown. Um, but you could definitely see people doing an online return for something like that where they're like, that's not what I was buying.
people get very picky about very silly things. That's for sure. Ultimately, blade steel, ergonomics, cutting performance, things like that are probably going to rank much higher than if it's the perfect shade of green for me.
Yeah.
yeah. For me, the only real legitimate concern would be: is this a clone? Is this a knockoff? Has this been pre-used? Is that why it's a different shade than what it appears online and in video? And the thing that bothers me, and this is a trend with Benchmade lately, is that they really don't seem to be leveraging the fact that they're a big company, relatively speaking, within the knife world, uh, who mass produces objects. Aluminum anodizing, the way the Benchmade does it, I believe, requires dye. You can buy pre-mixed dye, and it has a given rate of use, like the amount of the volume or the surface area of material you can put into before the dye needs to be changed. And that's well known in jewelry industry. I don't know why Benchmade wouldn't follow standard practices to get a consistent color on their products, especially when there's companies like Kershaw who also operate in the States to
Because
figure
they can
they
make
could
more
figure it
money
out.
that way.
If they exactly, yeah. But again, this is like I'm paying how many dollars for a knife like this. I want it to be consistent with
Yeah.
any other model off the shelf, right? Like it shouldn't. It's a minor nitpick, yes. Color ultimately, like it, whatever. I mean, if you really don't like it, you could always go aftermarket and buy some fancy scales that you really do like. But
What's the average cost of these knives on the screen right now though? 350?
you're getting up there,
350,
yeah,
yeah, 300 for the Osmores, 350 for the bailouts.
You're paying a fair amount of money. Most people at that kind of price range are be like, no, I want it. I want what I saw like when I looked this knife up.
yeah,
When I looked at their website, when I looked at the website online, whatever.
Well,
yeah,
and I think even that kind of depends because if you know that there's a range, then you'd be like, yeah, this isn't the same as what I ordered, blah, blah, blah. But if you don't, you might just chalk it up to Photoshop and be
Yeah.
like, oh, they made it look a lot greener in the picture than the one I got, blah, 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 type of thing, and leave it at that, right? So,
yeah. The vast majority of people probably are not going to care, but
well, and like I said, even knowing that they
Well,
do have something that's like, yeah,
if I could verify like yours that it was like direct from Benchmade and you knew for a fact that it was a legit, I kind of dig the fact that yours is so different than what the regular range is. So if that one arrived for me, I'd be like, huh, I got a shiny Pokemon. Sucker.
it's,
yeah, there's a
yeah,
bit of
yeah,
that.
yeah.
Yeah, no, I, if it's just about the appearance, I do like the idea that there is some variation to it for sure. Um, it's kind of like those specialty materials, like different carbon fibers with dye put into them, or different like folds of different material. There's going to be some variation by the time the thing actually gets to you. I kind of dig that because that does make them all somewhat unique and a little different. Um,
Yep.
certain materials like the Rapier Noble on the Chaparral that we looked at with the broken side, yeah, or where it's just resin instead of the. Basically, all I'm saying is that there is room for, oh, that's a little disappointing with that material, but we're so used to dealing with synthetic materials these days, very homogeneous synthetic materials, that a little bit of variation I think is off-putting for some people, but I don't
Yeah.
think it's necessarily the end of the world. Again, just buy from a authorized dealer, and then you don't have to worry about whether this is a fake or that's why the color's strange or there's something off about this or that.
Well, yeah, and that's the best part is 100% these came from authorized dealers. Like, yeah, we
Exactly.
Yeah.
we actually talked to the rep, yeah, the Benchmade rep for a couple of these particular models. So like it's
Mhm.
Exactly.
not like it was an AliExpress situation, right? So
Yeah.
100%.
At least if this is from AliExpress, that M4 sure seems to be folding up the way you would have expected. So
it's definitely not Tucson's S90, that's for sure. Sorry. Had to
No,
circle
no,
back
no.
to
Don't
that
be.
one. It's just
Don't be.
funny.
That's too right. I barely believe that their D2 was actually D2, so don't worry about it.
It's some sort of steel, and you'll be happy that you got it.
You sure paid for that chunk of steel.
Now hush.
Yeah.
Alrighty, sir. Sirs.
Yeah.
All of the sir-ishes.
The sir's here and the sir's there.
I want one small thing. We don't have to go anywhere. It's just a prediction based off of a thing that I observed recently.
Okay.
So the observation recently on Knife News, they were talking about Benchmade adding the mini meat crafter to the customizer. And so my prediction is next year you're going to see a Magna Cut and probably an S45 version of it, so it matches the lineup that already exists.
Of the minis, yeah.
Minis versus the full size, yeah. That's my prediction.
Yeah.
If they're smart about it.
Yeah, because I kind of want a S45 mini.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of do. Kind of a fan.
I'd be okay with that.
Yeah. Don't even make the Magna Cut one. Nobody cares. But give me the S45. Or the orange one and carbon fiber. It's S45 too. Never mind.
Well, I'm pretty sure that some people care.
Few people. Couple few.
Those people are allowed to care. I don't.
A couple few care.
Yeah.
I mean, everyone who wants Magna Cut, which is like everyone.
Yeah, but the original one's not Magna Cut anyways, is it? I thought it was S45 in the orange and carbon fiber. Yeah.
Yeah, they haven't released a Magna Cut.
I was thinking of the tagged out when I was.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, because it's the same. It's confusing because that one's in carbon fiber and orange, and then there's the Raghorn that is crew wear in carbon fiber and orange, and then there's the tagged out and the mini tagged out that are carbon fiber and orange and Magna Cut.
Well, and then you have the Altitude that's carbon fiber and orange in S90.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then you've got.
That's so
See,
far.
I don't mind if they were to just do carbon fiber, orange, and then the steel choice is the best choice for that design. Okay, that makes sense. I don't know if that's what they're doing.
The future will hold those secrets.
It has a vibe of what's available, what's hot.
A little bit of what's hot, yeah. What can we ask people the most money for?
So, yeah, I'd like to have a longer conversation about prices in the knife world in the future, but
We're hurting feelings, are we?
I think at 9 o'clock at night it might be.
It's too late for that today. Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll be here too long.
That might be a topic for next time, kind of thing. Speaking of next time,
September.
Next time might be September.
from the looks of things.
Yeah, there's a couple situations. I don't know if the end of August is a situation or not. I guess Paul needs a setup.
In Toronto, yeah. I don't have
laptopy.
Yeah, I don't have something like that I could
be able to run off of. Yeah.
If I had one to loan you, that'd be one thing.
Devin.
Yeah.
Devin get in on it. So there's 1 week that's a giant maybe, and I don't even know about the time
Well-
change if it's forwards or backwards.
They're ahead of us, so I don't think that it is possible.
No, but that's actually works out in our favor, right?
Does it?
If they're ahead of us, if
So
we
by-
get done at 5 o'clock there, it's only 3 o'clock here.
Yeah, but are we gonna get done at 5 o'clock on Sunday?
Well, no, so we get done at 7 o'clock and it's only 5 o'clock there.
Yeah.
Right. So yeah, you hear what I'm saying? Yeah. So anyway, yeah, we can discuss that more, but there's a good chance that we may or may not see you gentlemen until our viewers until September. So be that as it may, we've enjoyed the August, enjoyed the sunshine, enjoyed the summertime, all of
Yeah.
those things.
Get out and
Heck
use your
yeah.
knives. Do it.
Get out. Just get
Go
out.
on. Go on.
I
Get.
said get. All right, guys. Thanks for joining us. Yeah. Next week we're probably MIA. Third weekend in August is the maybe category. If not, we're back September 4th here, guys. September 4th? September 3rd? I don't know.
I'll look at a
The
calendar.
first? The
Yeah,
first
the
is
first.
Sunday.
Let's talk about September 1st. Yeah, okay. That's the
Yeah.
more accurate thing. Meanwhile, thank you to the Cutting Edge Cutlery Co. for bringing in the latest and greatest for Benchmade's, the PSK, both variations. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. All those
Thank you very
things.
much.
Thank you very
Thank you.
much.
Much obliged.
Thanks, some people. Come on.
Yeah.
on.
Thanks to folks on the Instagrams for continuing to follow us and you know, just fucking with the algorithm. We appreciate you.
Yeah.
I feel like I should throw in a shout out to a friend whose birthday was yesterday, but I don't know how they might feel about that.
Well, they've got too far. So, yeah. Happy birthday, random person. Happy birthday.
I mean, you know them.
Yeah, well, random person indeed. Thank you to those subscribers on Patreon. Past, present, future. Appreciate everything you've done. Yeah, Dick Richards, hope you're enjoying the bug out as well as anyone else that we sent out. Yeah, just a thank you for you guys contributing to the channel month
Absolutely.
after month type of thing, right? So
We delivered. Eventually.
Toronto trip's third weekend in August. Dick Richards, yeah. So Mad Yoko, sorry you were late too. See you in September. Maybe
Yeah.
third week in August. We'll see. All right, guys. I think that's it.
Think so.
We're good to go. Thanks for all joining us. It's always fun here. We will see you again here next time. I am who I am. I'm Dennis Vipers.
They are in Joe.
And I'm xl.ca.
And we'll see you next month, probably.
Next time.
Have you ever got a sliver through a pair of gloves?
Yes.
Yeah.
It was that heavy duty. I'm still digging that son of a bitch out.
Oh,
That
it's a bad
sucks.
day. That's terrible.